Good morning from New York. Again. Um, Today's subject: echo love, inner mind communication, mystic experience, and near death experiences, the paranormal. Wow. As I promised in the last video. Wow. A little history. Um, there's a lot of the paranormal in my life, and I don't pretend to understand it, but it has a certain kind of pattern to it. Seems I was led to these realizations. Um, hmm. Similar to the things that happen with mystics and with near death experience presentations, I experienced some odd things. There was a dark side, and there was a light side, and my life was anything but easy. And many of you can relate to that, I'm sure. There was a lot of problems. I was a very religious kid, raised fundamentalist Christian, and checked out all the other religions and so on. Had the different, looking for the experience of the thing. How does it make me feel? Is it going to, is it going to make me a better person? And I picked up a lot of things as I journeyed and experienced things. There were things I just don't know how I could possibly know. And that connected to me to what I now call the inner artist. My personification of the source of all love, which to me, my favorite mystic was Jesus, and I always consider myself a follower of Jesus. I'm not a believer in any sense. I'm just I have these experiences, and then if it works to make me a better person, then I'm all for it. If it works to make a better world, I'm for it. And this pattern that was revealed to me really does this these practices. They really work, and there were some who followed along with me in the past, and then went off the rails, in my opinion. They didn't know what they were doing anymore. They diverted from the revelatory path. I believe the path of the mystic is something that is ongoing, and as you grow in the mystic path, you experience more things. But you don't make a big deal out of stuff that you don't understand. You just do what you can with what was revealed to you. And that's what I'm doing. Wow. This has got to be one of the noisiest places I've ever lived. It is unbelievable. It's where poor people live, you see. It's almost designed that way. Yeah. Yeah. Us poor folk. Anyway, I promised that I would talk about this. I'm talking about the mystic experience at the moment, and the paranormal. I got involved with ESP early in my life, and took a really wrong turn, where I was blocked by a presence that was disdainful to something that I'd attempted to do, using paranormal approaches. It was impacting, and I realized this wasn't making me a better person. It's just the opposite. So paranormal can be a bad thing, and I don't suggest going there unless you've put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the waters. That's the Christian perspective. Unless you're following the inner artist, this your personification of all love, the source of love, the imaginer of all you imagine. Of course, this perspective of the absolute is something that is now we see through a glass darkly. But then face to face. I don't know that we ever will be face to face with the absolute source of all love. However you perceive that, I think it would be so overwhelming. I can't imagine that, and I'm not going to tell you I've gotten there. I'm not sure I would like to go there. There's something said in the Bible, no one has seen God and lived, something like that. I think they were alluding to that, it's just not, sometimes a little harsh there in some of these religions, a little harsh and punishing. Yeah. But that's why I say I'm spiritual but not religious, And I think that if you're spiritual, not religious, you're a better follower of Jesus than you are if you're being all entrapped in the punishing organized religions, which is just the opposite to me of following Jesus or any of the great mystics of any of the religions. It's just the opposite. I consider myself a follower not just of Jesus, but of Krishna, the Buddha, and even Muhammad, peace be upon him. They all come from a position of ego transcendence and surrender to the source of all love. The religious bit, is it's stuff that people tinkered with. It's I don't trust it. To be honest, I just don't trust it at all. And religions have notoriously been wrong about the universe and so many things, Spirituality is about a journey. It's not about not really about a final destination. In my opinion, it's just a journey. Okay, it's getting close to when I need to wrap this up. The last one was a little too long. So. Near-death experiences, yeah. Well, those experiences that I had parallel some of the paranormal aspects of it, parallel what happens in near-death experiences, things that people just can't explain, But there are some evidences, against some of the claims, and Neil deGrasse Tyson brings up one good argument. But there still remain some things that not only are outside of what we understand, but demand that we have a better, more encompassing conceptualization of reality. There does seem to be something greater than just the mind that filters everything, that is the imaginer of all we imagine, but it's in some sense a filter of something greater and less time bound. The inner artist lives in a space above our dramatic sense of time. And that's an important thing to understand. It's your creative empathy. So there's a tremendous sense of love. There's a sense of timelessness attached to the experience and the near-death experiences. And that is also mirrored in mystic experiences like the ones I'm talking about. There are points where I, channel my inner artist. I think that the job of a professional therapist is to channel that creative empathy, which gives you an overview of a person's dramatic timeline and their response to it, and I think that's the hat that they're putting on, whether they know it or not. And so, yeah, that is particularly noisy out there today. Um, all right. These are connections that I see. Uh, the echo love inner mind experience. In other words, what does that do? Um, well, it can give you some of the experience that you would have in a near death experience. Can even give you make you a channel of your personification of the absolute truth. And, yeah. But as I say, it's all of this relates to politics, and to democracy. I think democracy is a spiritual thing, um, because it opens up it defends our version anyway of democracy. It defends the rights of the individual. It says the individual's vote is important, and so the individual is important. And so democracy is a great virtue to aim for. And it is a place where spirituality, where empathy can thrive, where greater awareness can thrive. And so, when you talk about these things, you can't say, well, I'm not political. Of course you are. If you are in touch with the love flow, you're concerned about yourself and other people. You have to be concerned that the government that you're supporting is democratic. As democratic as you can get it to be. That means you have an absolute necessity to vote. And to vote for empathetic people. It's, take a good look. I've heard people argue that Trump was doing God's will. It isn't funny how flawed people can do God's will. Yeah, that might be true in some sense, but at the same time, let them remember that Jesus says you don't pick, and I'm going to paraphrase a bit, edible fruit from thorn bushes. You'll know them by their fruits. If someone isn't expressing empathy, they're not spiritually healthy. They should not be leading your country. So whatever your affiliation is politically, you just vote for empathetic people. The most empathetic that you've got to choose from. And yeah, that's a part of echo mind, inner mind communication. Yeah. Ego transcendent, objective, creative, and compassionate, virtuous, therefore, spiritual, approaches. Like I lost that somewhere along the way. You know, it's hard to think when you have constant noise around you. Do find a place to meditate if you can. If you have to wear earmuffs, it's good for your health. Uh, so, you can get out in nature. Yeah, to a quiet spot if you can find one. So, all right. Speaking of that, people that go deep into to meditation have had paranormal type experiences similar to the near-death experience. You don't have to die to experience bliss, to experience heaven. The artist, your inner artist, lives in heaven. And if you're talking the Trinity, that would be the Father. You know, you're living, you know, that's your personification of that, of course, be your image that you can relate to. In Hinduism, Dharma Shastra faith, that's called the Ishtadevata, your personal depiction or view of your personification of the absolute reality, or some call it God. So, let's see. We've gotten 22 minutes, and that's enough. Ask questions. It is so much easier to just answer questions for you and for those of us who are managing this channel. I don't know why it's that noisy today. It's usually not this bad. Anyway, at least you know this wasn't edited and, you know, and fake. This is a real person talking to you here in a real situation. Yeah. You got to be political even to deal with the noise pollution. This idea that you could be spiritual and not political is nonsense. And, you know, that's... You have to be political if you're spiritual. But you don't want to shove your religion down other people's throats. You want to allow people to have their own viewpoints. Their own spiritual path. So, and that's what democracy affords, is this freedom of speech and perspective that is fertile ground for empathy to grow. Yeah. I'm going to wrap this up. This is just too noisy for you guys. I'll give you my Irish blessing, if you can hear it over the noise. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And till we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Or her hand, or its hand, however you see it. The source of all love. Yeah. I hope there was something in here that was helpful to you. If you find it helpful, um, you know, share the video if you want to share the experience, and you want to align yourself with us. If you think this is valuable, then subscribe. If it's worth being involved with and listening to. I hope that it is. I think together with this understanding, we can heal the world. We can save the human race right here on this planet, which is our only feasible home at the moment. Yeah. So, and I like to use the word namaste because it means honoring that part of all of us that is together, the universe knowing itself. Awesome word. And so want to thank you for listening. You've been very tolerant, and I hope you got something from this. Let us know in the comments. Those who do subscribe are people we think are interested, and we might invite you to Zoom calls where you can listen to more points of view on the subject of empathy and awareness other than just me. And you give your own views if you want, and don't be afraid of that. You don't. We discuss what we're going to talk about in the Zoom first, and you can be part of that and decide whether you want to be in the published, recorded part or not later. And so, don't be afraid to be involved. In some way, in some level, you can be, and if you have expertise that this channel can use, well, we're open. Anyhow, make a great day today. You know you can. Namaste.